Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in the early mornings for the capacity development sessions for TWG1 and regarding for the route plannings. And so here is I share the presentation materials on the chat box. So there, I would like you to. I think their DOTr already share this material also. However, there I can defer this material also for the during and after the meetings. So there. First of all, so let me start. Before starting, so there. Who is the participant from expect from the DOTR side? LGUs or the any other participants is on sites? Okay. So there first of all, so the background or purpose of the trainings is to support to develop the LPTRP manuals and for the all LGUs and the capacity development for the route plannings to targeting for the technical working group meeting members. And again, the purpose of the trainings is to provide the supplemental guidance for the route plannings and for the for preparations of the LPTRP manuals. And actually last week, 2 weeks before, we have received so the draft of the manual volume 2. Intended for the highly urbanized cities, which is developed by the consultants. And now we are reviewing it. And I suppose to to share the contents in the today's sessions. However, the DOTR site asked not to publish the contents in detail. So I just limited to share just the table of contents briefly. And instead, I would like you to introduce about the contents of the so-called LPTP, Local Public Transport Planning Manual, which was published by the Ministry of Land Infrastructure and Transport and Tourism in Japan. And I never said Japan is the best practice for you. Otherwise, so we have a Japanese side is also facing the barriers and a lot of problems in terms of the sustainable operations of the public transport. On the other hand, so there is some advantages in terms of the accumulations of their experiences and the knowledge. So partly I expected so that everyone's in today's sessions will utilize so there as one of the differences for the route plannings. Then for the capacity development sessions now. For every times I will introduce the recaps on the previous sessions also. So in the previous sessions, yes, and we are introduced some supplementary info. The Japanese bus public transport operators need to submit the annual operation report and for the local office for the ministry. And in Japanese cases for the general outline, general report of the public transport operators and general operating report is summarized and submitted to the land office of the so-called LTO in Japan. And one of the characteristics, so the operational reports is shall be collected by the route specific. not for the all bus routes. So the which route is the so-called showing the high operational performances, and some route is not. And this is for the basis for the subsidizations for the according to the schemes in Japan. And of course, such kind of route specific informations can be utilized for the specific route plannings, which is it is for the both for the public transport operators and the government side. For example, in the Japan, this is just the translated versions of the operational report for the public transport route. Then the origins and the major bus stops and the destinations from the dispute information, the route lengths, and the if the expressway or highway is used, so the around which section is there. Is mentioned, and the fair rate, and the what times is the first trip and the last trips by direction, and the travel times and the number of round trips per day, and the operating distance per day, and the general riderships and the average trip lengths and the passenger kilometers, and the average operating passenger densities, and such under fair revenues. And the following information is summarized, must be summarized by the public transport operators and submitted to the government. And the some of bus operators are collecting such kind of informations. Of course, there most other operators doesn't such kind of analysis. So however, the such kind of according to the given and fixed formats for the public transport operations, so the route plannings by the government side is possible. Then from this informations, yes, and not. And in the previous sessions, we have introduced about the internal subsidizations, which means through the revenue from the high ridership route with the arterial roads. So the loss for the feeder route, which doesn't operate get the much fair revenue, can be made up. Made up. This is called as the internal subsidizations among the within one bus operators. And not only for the internal subsidizations, so the general subsidizations by the government is also be there. So the one participant, Mr. Otsuka, is made a comment that there is the participant misunderstands that there is no subsidy in Japanese bus operators. So it is to clarify that it is better to introduce about these schemes by the bus operators. But this is a very simple presentations. For the detailed one shall be studied and summarized in the other format. And there is some flow charts about to decide the subsidizations for the bus operations in Japan. Yes, of course, for according to this such kind of operational information, and there is decisions. Is the bus route profitable or not? And if yes, of course, there is no need to making the financial support. And in that case, and if the bus route is not profitable, is the loss is acceptable for overall balances? It means if there is some other profitable route which is operated by the same operators, and the loss by the one route is acceptable for the overall public transport business. Yes. Yeah, so they might they might not need their such financial support. In some cases, so there is a very the lower profitability for the one route, and in that cases, all bus operator doesn't continue their operations, of course. However, and there is some the social issues. If there is no bus route along this area, many residents need to depend on the private vehicles. And currently, this is a Japanese historical problem, social problems, so the aging societies. And of course, the Japan have show much higher car ownerships. On the other hand, so the very elderly people need to depend on their private car. Of course, sometimes it is very difficult for some people. Also, sometimes making the serious traffic accidents caused by the old elderly drivers. So in that cases, so even if their bus route is not profitable, so there needs to discuss how to how to sustain their public transport operations for their community. And sometimes so the bus then if the public transport operations causing their very is not profitable and causing their very huge loss for the public transport operations, operators will submit the request to terminate the operations because of their lower profitability for the public transport route. In that cases, so the local committee or councils be there. So that we doing the LGU will confirm that the local public transport must be continued or not. And if the local committees or local council concluded that this bus route is necessary for their communities, and first the public transport is subsidized. And on the other hand, if the council or committees concluded that this bus route is not so meaningful for their communities, the public transport councils will approve to terminate the public transport operations. And recently, this bar graph showing the number of drivers with a large vehicle license. It means the person who can drive the buses is decreasing gradually. In that cases, so the public transport operators are facing the difficulties to sustain their public transport business. So the public transport operators every public transport operator wants to shrink their public transport service and just focusing on their limited profitable routes. However, this is the one of the social problems which our Japanese government is facing. Then supplementary informations, yes, under financial just the differences. So I would like to share the financial report of one of the largest Japanese bus operators. And according to this information, the public this is Kanagawa Chugo Kotsu is one of the largest bus operators. However, they have various business sectors. Then the first one is the passenger transport business. This is must be the main components. On the other hand, so the real estate business and the automobile sales business and the other business will be operated. And you can see there these tables. There's a revenues and the profit. And of course, the Kanagawa Chugo Kotsu with its public transport operators, so the passenger transport business showing the highest portions in terms of the revenue. On the other hand, the profit is not so high. Yes, you can see the profit per revenue ratio is just 5% of the, so the public transport business itself is not so profitable for the public transport operators. However, then you can see that this operators is the largest, one of the largest public transport operators and own 2,000, nearly 2,000 vehicles. And so even if the public transport business is not so profitable, so they will expand to the various business sectors, and according to the through the profit from the other sectors, so the public so-called stable public transport operations is secure, must be secured. And the one of the points, the loss by the unprofitable public transport routes are covered only by the profit from the bus transport, public transport business only. So if the loss by the public transport business must not be covered by the other sectors. So otherwise, so maybe the public transport operations can't be secured. So the subsidy schemes, even for the such kind of very large public transport operators, so to sustain the such unprofitable routes, the public subsidization schemes is applied. But this is one of the characteristics of the public transport operations in Japan. So at this moment, so there is some discussions about the public transport operations with the subsidization schemes in this country also. And however, I hope that these examples will be the one of the materials for you. Mr. Otsuka, is there any comment or some additional information from your side?
Japan, my name is Otsuka. Thank you, Dr. Futose, for your detailed information. I think it's clear that for Futose-san's explanations, yes, just want to add is that maybe Dr. Futose already explained, but yeah, given some subsidies to the operators, that is that should be happening in the last minute. So of course these kind of transportations should be operated by each operators without any subsidies. But thinking about the necessary in the community or according to the public transportation plans, government side also needs to consider whether you have to give the subsidy to the operators or not. But that should be considered in the last minute. That's my opinion. Thank you so much, Dr. Futose.
もうちょっと考えてから喋る。もうちょっと考える時間を置いたらよかった。Thank you so much.
Sorry, yeah.
And again, I want to say so there such kind of so-called relatively sustainable public transport the business plans, business management by the public transport operators is due to the consolidated market. This, for example, in Japan also, and for the larger area, and public transport operators is consolidated into the limited number. And you can see that currently one operators own nearly 2,000 vehicles. So and they can expand their business as the so-called the major business core in the region and in the city. So if the such kind of the market structure is very difficult in your country, there is a numerous number of public transport operator. However, most of them are own one or a few public transport vehicles. So in that cases, the government side also have a difficulty to making some of the subsidy schemes. So that otherwise, your financial resource will can't be utilized efficiently, effectively. That's why, according to the fuel hike, public transport operators come to there and making the strikes and asking the financial support to them. However, there are such kind of the structures between the government and the public transport operators can't show their growth potentials for in terms of the business and for the supporters of the local communities. And this page is showing this is not for the public transport, bus transport operators. However, the Japanese railway operators is showing the much more various business sectors, including the transport business and the distributors and the real estate and the construction business also. Then the revenue and the profit ratio is more clear, showing the clear trends. However, the public railway business itself is much more profitable, but because of the efficiency for the passenger transport business. So need to say the bus transport itself is not so profitable because you need to assign the one or two drivers to operate for the one bus transport, one bus vehicles. Okay, and during the previous sessions, some participants asked to provide more topics for the transport database and how to conduct demand forecastings. So the later part, I think it will be the online or when I will come here again. So I will conduct the traffic assignment utilizing the demand forecasting database, which was developed in the previous studies. So I will prepare some materials and the contents. So hopefully if you are interested in these topics, I would like you to join it. Okay, that's all for the previous recap on the previous sessions. So